What do the great startup CEOs do that the rest don't do? Hi, I'm Brett, and I'm going to walk you through the 10 things that the great startup CEOs that the others don't consistently do. So let's get started. The first one that the great startup CEOs do that the rest don't do is they relentlessly focus on building a great team, because the great startup CEOs recognize and realize that without a great team, they're nothing. If you don't have great people around you and you're not looking at how they fit inside of your culture and you're not consistently recruiting from day one and building your team every day, every week, every hour, then you're missing it. This is the most important thing to do when you're building a startup. That, along with culture, which I'm going to get to in a minute, those two things together are your killer things to do. Because if you have a great team around you, then you can accomplish anything. Your great team's going to recognize when you're off plan. Your great team is going to recognize when you need to pivot. Your great team is going to keep you hiring great people. Your great team is going to attract more great people. Do I need to say any more? This is what you need to focus on. Build a great team. The second thing that great startup CEOs do that the rest don't do is, you know what they do? They do what they say they're going to do. In other words, they execute. They relentlessly execute. If they say something's going to be done on Tuesday, you know what? It's done on Tuesday. And by doing this, they build a culture of execution inside of their company. This is so important to do. So now you've got a great culture along with your great team, and you're executing, and this is how you grow faster, is when you meet your goals and you do what you say you're going to do. This is one of the things that one of my investors told me. He said, you know what? You're tough because you know what? You execute your plan. That's the highest praise you can get as a CEO. The third thing, number 3 on our list, that the great startup CEOs do is they learn from their mistakes and they don't make the same mistake twice. So when you hire that bad VP, you learn from it and you don't repeat the mistake by hiring another bad VP doing the same thing. When you make a mistake and you recognize that your direction is wrong, you don't just keep on going. You fix it. You're going to have millions of things go wrong. There are going to be millions of things in your plan that don't work out. There are going to be millions of mistakes that you make, because we all make mistakes. But the key is learning from your mistakes and not making the same mistake twice. The fourth thing that the great startup CEOs do that the rest don't do is they are communication ninjas. They understand how to communicate with customers. They understand how to communicate with investors. They understand how to communicate with employees. And they understand the economy of communication. In other words, they understand how to make their message really easy to understand regardless of the audience that they're in front of. This is so important. How many people have you talked to? And when you listen to them, you think to yourself, you know what? They don't make any sense. You don't have that luxury when you're the CEO. You have to make sense. People have to be able to understand what you're about at all times. You have to be clear as a communicator because you have so many different audiences that you're going to be communicating with. So you can't afford to make these mistakes. And you know what? The great ones don't. They understand the power of communication and how important it is to their success and their company's success. Number 5 on our list. I said we were going to get here, and now we're here. Culture. Of all the determinants of a great company, it is a great company culture. So the great startup CEOs understand, even before they start building their company, the necessity and the importance of focusing on culture. And you know what they do? They do focus on it. They talk about it relentlessly with their team. They make sure that anybody that does not fit their culture, no matter how bright they are, no matter how good they are, no matter how sharp they are, is no longer in the company. That's just paramount to their success. So they understand the power of having a great culture, and they focus on it relentlessly. They teach it, they preach it, they talk about it with their executive staff. They get their executive staff talking about it with the rest of the company. If this is our way of doing things, this is the way we do it here. This is all part of building a great team. And by the way, when we're talking about culture, we want to build a culture where nobody wants to leave. No one wants to leave. That's the best company you can build. Now, obviously, people do leave. However, we want it to be really tough for them to leave. We want to build a culture where they enjoy their work, they're around great people, the environment is positive, they're paid well, their compensation beyond pay, healthcare is good, especially here in the United States. Their stock options are up to snuff and everything's good. We're refreshing their stock options, so we make it really difficult for our great team to want to leave. That's what we want to do. Number 6 on our list of the things that the great startup CEOs do that the others don't is they are resilient. You can get punched in the mouth. In fact, I even wrote a book on this called Learn How to Take a Punch. It does not matter. You get up time and time again. It does not matter how much you punch me. I'm going to get up every single time. You can hit me. You can punch me. I can lose my biggest customer. I can lose my VP of engineering. I can have the worst thing imaginable happen to me on every single day of the week. And somehow, some way, I'm going to keep getting up off the ground every single time. That's what the great ones do. They don't get discouraged. They find a way. They stay positive. Yet they are very realistic about what's going on at the same time. So they manage this Stockdale paradox thing, and they manage both things at the same time. That's what the great startup CEOs do. Number 7 on our list. The great startup CEOs have passion for the work. They have passion for their team. I don't know how, if you're going to go build a company and you're going to be working the hours you're going to be working and you're going to be faced with adversity day after day, you do it if you don't have passion for what you do. But you know what? Some people try. But the great ones, they truly have a passion for it. They love what they're doing. Absolutely love it. Not only do they love that, they love their team. And they have this compassion for their team. And they want their team to be successful. So they love the environment. They love the team. They love the company. They love everything about it. Even the bad days are good days. This is what the great CEOs manage, is somehow or other this mental jujitsu of both things at once. Of dealing with the tough things, but being passionate about it every single day of the week. Number 8 on our list, the things that the great startup CEOs do that the others don't consistently do. They are incredibly focused. When you're a CEO, you're going to have a million things thrown at you at various times. And people are going to want to push you and pull you in various directions. And you know what your favorite word is going to be? It's going to be, no, I'm sorry, but we're focused over here. Yes, but I've got $1 million opportunity over here. No, I'm sorry, we're staying focused over here. Hey, but we can go off in this new market area. No, I'm sorry, we're focused here. Hey, but we can attack these customers. No, I'm sorry, we're focused here. Again and again and again, you stay relentlessly focused regardless of what's going on. You know what needs to be done. You block the rest of it out because you recognize that you can be incredibly busy every day and accomplish nothing. But that's not you. That's not what you want. You recognize that you have to be successful every single day. And you hold yourself to a higher standard. So you stay focused because you know what? That focus rubs off on everybody else in the company. Number 9 on my list of the things that the great startup CEOs do that the rest don't. They believe they don't have all the answers. I have worked for 18 different people in my life, including board members. There is one CEO in particular, I'm going to call him Bob because in my writing I call him Bob, that thought he had all the answers. Bob was a legend in his own mind. He thought he knew everything. He hired really good people around him sometimes, and you know what he did? He tried to prove that he was smarter than his really good people. And guess what happened to Bob? Bob ended up losing his company because eventually his board got tired of him because they recognized that Bob didn't have all the answers, and Bob didn't want to hear that he didn't have all the answers. This is what happens to you when you don't listen to your team. You need a great team around you. Remember, you hired these really good people. The idea is to use them to get an exponential effect in your business. And this is what happens if you have all these smart minds around you. Now suddenly, rather than one smart person, which is you, trying to solve all the problems, you've got all these other people around you to solve the problems with you. And you know what you're going to find? Many times they have better answers than you do. So you've got to let your people fly. You've got to let your people succeed. You've got to believe, you know what? Maybe I'm not the smartest person in the room, and that's okay. Okay, number 10, our final one on the list, is pretty similar actually to the last one in some ways, and that is they surround themselves with great people. They get the right people on the bus, they get the wrong people off the bus, and they get the right people in the right seats on the bus. This is something that Jim Collins talked about in his landmark book, Good to Great. And it's something that I truly believe in. If we hire really smart people and we recognize that maybe we need a smart person over here who's over there, we move the smart person. And you know what we also recognize is when we hire somebody, because we're fallible and we make mistakes, and maybe the smart person that we thought was going to be really good in one area turns out not to be so good, we move them on. So we're surrounded by really, really, really good, motivated, smart people. And we move them to where they need to be to have the maximum impact on the business. I saw this work really well in my career when I worked at Maxim Integrated Products, where Jack Gifford, the founding CEO, was constantly reorganizing and shuffling people for maximum effect in the company. So you might be working in one division one day and then suddenly you're off in another division another day. I think I had, in my 11 years in working at Maxim, I think I was in 7 different divisions running various areas of the company as the company progressed. And it worked really well to be this way, to have the right people in the right seats on the bus. So build a stable of talent around you. If you've got really smart people around you, they'll be versatile. They'll be able to do multiple things for you, and that's what you want. Okay, well now we've gone over all 10 things on my list today, so you know what they are. Hope you've enjoyed it. I am Brett at brettjfox.com. Have a great, great, great day.